the middle of the 14th century, Europe was crowded, busy, and connected. Markets filled town squares. Ships carried wool, grain, wine, spices, and strangers from port to port. Roads linked villages to cities. Merchants, pilgrims, sailors, priests, and peasants moved through a world that was far less isolated than we sometimes imagine. That connected world helped medieval Europe grow. It also helped carry disaster. In the late 1340s, a terrifying sickness moved into Europe along the trade routes. It came through ports, towns, and roads, spreading faster than people could understand it. At first, it arrived as rumor. Distant cities emptied, families dying, priests overwhelmed, whole neighborhoods afraid to open their doors. Then the rumors became local. Someone in the next street fell ill, then a neighbor, then a child, then a whole household. The disease could seem to strike with horrifying speed. People developed fever, pain, weakness, and dark swellings. Some died within days. Medieval doctors did not understand bacteria, fleas, or infection in the way we do now. Many people believed the plague was caused by poisoned air, divine punishment, unlucky stars, or forces they could not see. Fear spread with the sickness. In towns, normal life began to collapse. Markets emptied, shops closed, families hid indoors. Some people stayed to care for the sick. Others fled, sometimes carrying the disease with them. Bells rang for the dead until there were too many dead to count in the usual way. The church was supposed to offer comfort, but priests died too. In some places, there were not enough clergy left to hear confessions, perform rites, or bury the dead properly. The plague did not spare the people who tried to explain it. As the deaths rose, burial itself became a crisis. Medieval communities were used to death, but not like this. Bodies had to be moved quickly. Graves were dug in haste. Old rituals broke under the pressure of numbers. The Black Death turned familiar streets into places of silence, grief, and fear. And then, after the worst waves passed, Europe was not the same. Fields had too few workers. Workshops had too few hands. Villages lost neighbors, relatives, and entire families. Land that once needed every available laborer could no longer be farmed in the same way. For survivors, this horror created a strange and uncomfortable change. Labor became more valuable. Peasants and workers could demand better wages or conditions in places where landowners desperately needed people. Authorities tried to control wages and force the old order back into place. But the world had shifted. The plague had exposed how much medieval society depended on ordinary people whose work had suddenly become scarce. The Black Death did not create modern Europe by itself. History is never that simple. But it shook the medieval world deeply. It weakened old assumptions, damaged institutions, changed labor, and left behind communities that had to rebuild after losing a staggering share of their people. The plague was not only a story of death, it was a story of a connected world, discovering how quickly disaster could travel through it. And when the sickness finally loosened its grip, medieval Europe was still standing, but it was no longer the same Europe.